Welcome to Basket Talks new episode. This is Mir Demir Demirer from Basket Talks. In this episode, we are with Pablo del Tio. Hi, coach. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah, nice to hear that. And then you are work for Badalona, right? And
yes, exactly.
Badalona Basket. Yeah. And I want to run back to the history of your basketball career. And then when and where did you first became interested in basketball?
I played basketball from 8 years old. I started to play in my school as many kids, no? My sister played basketball also as a kid in Spain. I wanted to play football, but in my school, it didn't have a football team. My sister told me, no, okay, why don't play basketball, no? And at the end, I started with the idea to play basketball only one year. But I love basketball and keep on playing basketball until 34, no? When I retired when I was 33, 34 years old. That's all, see?
After that, you started your coaching career, right?
Yeah, exactly. I started to coach when I was 15, 16 years old. I started to coach kids in different categories. But when I started to play as a professional, I had to stop to coach. And I recovered this coach work or mentality,
Mm-hmm. And then you are work for, as we said, Badalona Basket in pro team and young team too, right? And
yeah, exactly. I passed for different clubs in different positions, as a coordinator, director, as a coach. At the end, I arrived Joventut Badalona, and I coached under 15 and under 16 2 years in a row.
I want to ask you a question about the training with different ages. What do you think about how to train young players as they get older?
Train young players is exciting adventure and experience, no? For me, I have a physical education degree, so it's not only I was a player, no? Always I repeat the same sentence. Make a coach is easier to be a coach, no? For me, it was so exciting situation because I learned a lot about them, no? And you have to put all your tools and you have to manage different characters and different personalities. You cannot break any career. You have to fight with the feelings and emotions, the emotion of the young players. Let the tools to grow up. The most important thing is different in Badalona of many teams of Spain and the rest of the world is they put a lot of attention in development and in improving of the players. For Joventut Badalona, it's very important that point, get better the players.
Yeah, thank you. And I think as a coach, I need to say I'm a player and I'm not so much opinionated about this. But as a coach, when you work with a kid, a junior or under 15 or under pro, you always remembering base fundamentals of basketball because they don't know anything about this, and you need to remember and how to teach the base of or fundamental of basketball, and this is I think really important for coaches.
That is the most important point. In Spain, I talk about the context I know. No? In Spain, many clubs and many coaches have a big problem because their priority is not this development of the players. Their priority is win games. So for me, the most important thing is train the basic things and let the players the fundamentals and the basics, let them to by themselves improve every day. Because if you are able to create and build things from these fundamentals, the new things will be better. And you build a solid platform to create the building, to rise up the building.
Yeah, thank you. And then I want to ask you about some common mistakes that most young players make, and in your opinion, what are your thoughts on biggest mistake that young players made?
Right now, for me, the big mistake is they don't want to make mistakes. They are scared to make mistakes, and the only way to improve, the only way to get better is make mistakes and learn from mistakes. For sure, it will be a problem if you repeat the same mistake every single time. That is the task of the coaches, show them the solutions or different options to find the solution. So that, this is the most important task of the coach. But the big problem the most important things is make the things well, get better day by day. And at the end, win games is a consequence, is a present for the players to find more motivation, to objective motivation to keep on working. But it's not the most important thing. So for me, the big mistake is that, okay, for sure, there are many mistakes. For example, big guys have problems to put the ball on the floor with both hands. Sometimes the big guys, they are not able to shoot lateral half hook. Always shoot with one hand face because, okay, they are bigger than the rest of the 80% of the rest of the players, and every time shoot face to the basket. That point will be difficult, or it will be a problem when they play in a superior categories where the height will be tight, so it's very important. Sometimes they have problems to pass the ball with the right, with the left, always pass the ball over the head using both hands. That is one of the problems I detect.
Yeah, and thank you. And you have a children too, and I want to put this between the two questions. And then how do you teach the game your children?
My kid.
Yeah.
Okay, my son.
Yeah, your son.
Okay. My son tell me, you are my father, you are not my coach. So some days he asked me to show him something. I want to let him create this motivation, and for sure, if he wanna ask me, I tell him no different exercise drills. But I'm not this kind of father, no.
Yeah. Thank you. And let's think about a player that's really talented and really skilled, and he can play a pro level, we can say. But he played in another country and under 20s. How can young people with talented with other countries apply to Badalona basket team?
Badalona has an important young teams. In that young teams, put different players with this talent and this potential to arrive ACB. Okay, for sure, in any part of the Europe or in the world, there will be another player with this talent. For me, the most important thing is train every day, making the things better. And nobody knows what the future, as a coach also. I'm ready to coach in ACB, but I'm ready to coach in another country. You must have an agent to move your profile, to show. But the most important thing to play in ACB, for example, being a young player is defense. You have to be a solid defender. If you are not a solid defender, you cannot play in ACB. It doesn't matter if you have an amazing talent in offense, shooting, assistant, playing low post. It doesn't matter. If you don't give a solid defense, you cannot play in ACB. It's the same in the rest of important leagues in Europe.
Yeah, thank you. You're in assistant coach of Badalona. Sí, I know some Spanish words like sí and ¿cómo estás? Like, and then I think your job, defensive coaching, is really tough because you need to understand every player's skill set and every team's offensive sets, and you need to make a strategy for guard them. And this is tough.
It's a good analyze, no? But at the end, see, as when you coach under 15 and under 16 team, it's impossible to have a good defense if you don't have a basic and fundamentals, and you don't have clear what is your philosophy. From our philosophy, we can select our strategy for this game or for another. But at the end of the season, we cannot change a lot our strategy. Our strategy is completely connected, linked with our philosophy. We cannot build nothing solid. Our basics, our fundamentals doesn't change.
And actually, I want to ask that because it is really international defensive common things, and almost all my coaches don't want to do that, and it's bad thing for them. And I want to ask you, what are your thoughts about the zone defense?
In young leagues, it doesn't matter if you play zone in young leagues. The big problem is you every game play 40 minutes zone. Zone give the players the knowledge to defend, to stay in a space, controlling this space, and give your team a team responsibility. If you use the zone to win games using 40 minutes, that is a big problem because you don't let your players to grow up. We need the players arrive with the best knowledge of different aspects, including the zone. Many players don't know defense zone. It's not good also. So at the end, the most important thing is the goal, the context, and you abuse or not of the zone.
And let's move on to the final question. What are the musts of basketball?
there is a sentence say, the defense win the championships, the offense win the finals. I come back to the beginning, come back to the fundamentals, come back to the basics. We have to start to create our team from offense, but don't forget the defense. And you have to combine both part of the game. If you are competing in an important league, if you are not coaching young players, the most important thing is try to give a lot of importance to the defense, because defense give you the toughness, the platform to grow up as a team. But okay, sometimes you have budget money to contract good players, and at the end, that players give you good offense. For me, offense part is important, but we need to train defense part, because I repeat, to play in the most important leagues in Europe, the most important point for your players or for any player is be a solid defender. For me, as a defensive coach, the defense is so important.
Yeah, and thank you for joining me for this interview.
I appreciate you interesting to talk to me and talk about different aspects from your opinion and your point of view.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
one more thing I'm curious about. I saw your Instagram. You always post your socks, and what is this means? What are those means?
It's my way to enjoy the game. When I arrive to the game, all my tasks are finished. Now is the moment of the head coach to manage, organize, and lead the team. And now is the moment, the game for of the players to play. In my case, okay, this is my moment. I select these socks to enjoy the game. And the second point, nobody knows who is the assistant coach. If I put the attention, I reclaim this as my socks reclaim this attention. Okay, I exist as assistant coach. If nobody knows who is the assistant coach.
Yeah, that's really great. And thank you for all again, and thank you for joining me. And
You're welcome.
Hope to see you soon. Thank you for all.
Thank you.
See you.
You're welcome. See you.
In this episode, we are with Pablo del Tio. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy. See you in next episode. Bye bye.